Hi everyone, and welcome to our homework review session for Year 5, and this is going to focus on the GL assessment homework from week 1. So hopefully if you're watching this video you're in Year 5. My name is Chris Pearce and I'm going to be working down through these homework tasks with you. This is a great opportunity for you to stop the video, re-watch anything. If you're not quite sure of any keywords or anything like that, then please do stop the video, write them in your word and meaning book, and this is a good opportunity to use this homework video to check your homework. Also, hopefully it's something you'll be able to do independently as well, rather than your parents feeling that they need to check it. We're actually going to go through all of the you must tasks and check that they are all correct. If you get any wrong, don't worry. It's certainly a learning curve. I know with some of these homework tasks, they can be quite difficult. So certainly this video will help you go through the homework. So let's just bring up the slides. I'll be in the bottom right hand corner as normal, just guiding you through these homework slides. So just a reminder, this is homework review of week 1 and you should be Year 5 studying GL assessment. This is just a copy of your homework. Hopefully you've got this homework. You can find it on the portal if you can't find a copy. And I'm actually going to be focusing on these verbal reasoning question types. Our other tutors will actually look at the non-verbal. I know Luke Lloyd is preparing a video for you to go through any non-verbal reasoning questions. And I'm just going to focus on some of the verbal reasoning ones. So what's the focus? Well, the focus is to review the question types covered in week 1. Okay, week 1's homework, we're going to be reviewing those question types and looking through the answers. I'm going to focus on some of the more challenging questions, so you're clear about what the answers are and any that you need explained. Okay. It's also a really good idea to record and track progress in the score boxes. So any of the score boxes, write out how many out of 10 you managed to get, and it keeps a good record of what you've done. So we're actually going to be looking in, I'm just going to hold it up for you. This is the verbal reasoning book that you need to have. Okay, that Let's book, that red one. Okay, so make sure you've got that one to hand. So the first test that you would have completed for your homework was this one here, and it's code sequences, test 21, page 25. So please make sure you've got your book open. As you can see down the side, I've actually typed in what those answers actually are. For the first one, I've actually just represented the jump. So again, it's very clear for you to see the first letter of each pair went +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. So if we went to U, just to show you, if I grab my pen, if I had U here and I jumped 5, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I would get Z as my first letter. Second letter, slightly different jump. It went +2, +1, +2, +1, +2. So if we get to K and we add 2 on, 1, 2, we get M. Remember to count those jumps really accurately. Now, I haven't written the difference between all of the other ones, but I thought what I would probably do, as you go down through, obviously you can be ticking it. If you've got it correct, you can give it a nice tick. But I would just call out what those jumps are. So I'm just going to go to the back of the book just so you can listen in. I'll make sure I go to the right page and I'm going to tell you what those jumps are. So if we look at question 2, where we got RM, the first letter went -2, -3, -4, -5 and -6. The second letter was +4, -2, +4, -2 and then +4. Okay. Number 3, so any that you got wrong, just listen carefully to what those jumps were, because that may be where we made the error. So we weren't quite able to identify the pattern or we counted inaccurately. Question 3 for WB, the first letter +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. And then the second letter was actually -2. So just showing you here, we've got L to J to H to F to D. That's -2, -2 from D, 1, 2. So we get B. Let's have a look at number 4. We've got PM, and the first letter was +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. The second letter was every other letter, and it went -2, +2. So every other letter, and it went -2, plus 2. The last one here on this page, which is JS, it went every other letter plus 3. So remember, missing a letter. We did practice those in the lesson. You might remember doing that. And then the second letter is every other letter, but it's minus 4 and then plus 2. So well done if you managed to get 5 out of 5. I've just sort of split this page in half. Next, we've got questions 6 to 10. So again, any that you get correct, go down through, give them a tick. If you do get any wrong, I suggest you just put a dot, okay? But you can go down and check and see how you got on these. Question 6, we got MC, and it was every other letter minus 2, and then the second letter was just minus 1. It was just taking 1 away. So when we say minus 1, we're of course going backwards on the alphabet. So H to G to F to E to D, and then of course we get C. Okay, so if we start off with H, you've been going all the way back until you arrived at C. Let's have a look at question 7. Should have got KD. And the first letter was plus 3, plus 4, plus 3, plus 4, plus 3. Again, you have to be really accurate when you're counting there, particularly when it sort of alternates between different numbers. The second letter was minus 2, minus 3, minus 2, minus 3, minus 2 to get your D. So again, really accurate when you're counting. 8, we got YV. First letter was plus 6, so quite big jumps. Second letter was minus 3. Question 9 was FE, and that was first letter plus 1, second letter plus 1. And then the last one, which was CU, first letter, every other letter, plus 1, minus 1, second letter, plus 1. So in your little box down here, you can write down how many you managed to get correct. If you did manage 10, brilliant. If you did get any wrong, don't worry, but just go back and see if you can understand why. Okay, let's move on now, and we're going to have a look at the next set of questions. And this is missing letters, and you need to be on test 22. So please make sure you're on test 22 and you're on page 26. Page 26. So this is all in our Let's book. Hopefully you've managed to have a go at doing these. So with this test, these missing letters, and again you may remember doing them in your lesson this week, the way that we need to work them out is we read the sentence and then we have to work out, we've got some letters in capitals, we've got to work out what word that is and what it should spell, and then once we know the word, we're going to cross out the letters that we were given to leave us with a 3-letter word. So the first one, and obviously the sentence really guides us here, the boy often played something at school. And what you're looking at here, I'll actually do it in capitals, is the word truant. And the word truant means when you don't attend school. So playing truant, it means that you don't go to school. So TRU, and then that means it leaves us with a 3-letter word, ant. So I'm just going to go down through these very quickly and just sort of tell you what the words were, but again, how you could have kind of used the sentence to guide you. Okay. So question 2, he had an something. So the fact it's got an there might mean then it begins with the vowel. So we probably have that as the first letter. I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure. So he had an something, Picasso. Now Picasso, of course, is an artist. And the word we need here is original. Original. To leave us with the word rig. Okay, like an oil rig. Number 3, we've got the grandfather clock something loudly. And the word we're looking for here is chimed. Chimed. So CHIMED, chimed. Again, cross out the letters and we're left with him. Number 4, we've got many adventurers climbed the something volcano. Some of you may have heard of the word dormant. Dormant volcano, a sleeping volcano, one that doesn't erupt. So dormant. So if they were climbing the volcano, yes, it's very likely to be dormant. So dormant is the word there. So many adventurers climbed the something volcano. What sort of volcano could it be? And yes, dormant is what we need there. So really looking at those letters to give you a bit of a clue. Okay. Number 5, they put the dirty plates in the, and the answer to this, of course, is dishwasher. And we'd be left with ash. So again, go down through, see how many you managed to get right. If you got 5 out of 5 there, brilliant. That wasn't a particularly easy one, truant. And you need to be a good speller again, particularly with words like original. let's have a look at the next 5. So we're still on page 26, test 22. And what we've got here on question 6 is Emma was exhausted after running the... Now have a think about what this would be. Well, of course, the word we're after is marathon. So again, if I spell out marathon and we think about the letters that I was given. So again, I'm going to get my pen. Just going to cross out the M. I've got an A, I've got an H, I've got an O, and I've got an N. So I'm left with the word rat. Okay. She's something to finish the work before midnight. And what we've got here is we've got an I and N, so it might start like that, in something. She's something to finish the work before midnight. Well, intended is what I'm after there, intended. Okay, she intended to finish the work before midnight. Question 8, the hungry lion something the zebra. And we're looking for the word pursued. Pursued. Okay, the hungry lion pursued the zebra. In other words, chased after the zebra. Pursued, chased. Number 9, she felt something by the seaside. Now, maybe the H and the A and the P give you a bit of a clue to what this word is going to be. And the word we're looking for here is happiest. She felt happiest by the seaside. Question 10, Susan something had time to eat lunch before the meeting. Now, because if she's got a meeting, she's obviously got to rush to it probably, or she's got to get there on time. So Susan something had time to eat lunch. So the word we're looking for here is barely. In other words, she had very little time before the meeting began. So if we were to very quickly just type out barely, and then you can see if we cross out the letters we were given, the B, the L and the Y, then we're left with R. Okay, so well done if you managed to get those correct. Right, that was the first 10 of the missing letters. We're now going to move on to look at some antonyms. And what we would certainly suggest on this is that you've got your word and meaning book out. There are some quite challenging words in here. So what I'm going to try and do as we go down through is tell you what some of the maybe more unusual words mean, and the more challenging words that you may not have heard of, try and put them into context. And then what you can do is put them in your word and meaning book. This is a really good opportunity to fill that word and meaning book up. I know our tutors will like to check with you when you come back to our lessons, whether you've been using your word and meaning book, so please do that. So, number 1, you've got thick, foolish, abundant, meagre, blooming and copious. Now, it is really important you're doing opposites. So, one of the little reminders that I gave in the test was that if it says opposite at the top, you would sort of underline that. But one other little trick for you, just to sort of make sure that you are still doing opposites, is just to write on your page, just to write OPP. And you can maybe write it a couple of times just really quickly, just to remind yourself you're doing opposites. So number 1, we've got thick, foolish, abundant, meagre, blooming and copious. Well, abundant means a lot and meagre means not very much. Interestingly, copious, you can have copious amounts of something. Well, that again would be a synonym. So hopefully you got that one correct with abundant and meagre. Profound, vain, cautious, remarkable, dazzling and superficial. Well, profound means very great, whereas superficial means lacking in something or lacking the ability particularly to think deeply. So profound and superficial are your opposites in meaning there. Okay, I think most of the other words you'd know: vain, cautious, remarkable and dazzling. Number 3, so again, sorry, give that one a tick if you got it right. Number 3, you got reckless, affluent, sturdy, frail, swift and languid. Affluent means sort of wealthy, so maybe a word you've come across before, sort of rich or wealthy, an affluent area. Sturdy, now sturdy means strong. You might refer to something as being sturdy. Frail, however, means weak. So strong and weak, of course, are opposites. Languid, I always think of the languid caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. And languid means with no energy. Okay, languid. So again, this might be a word here, languid. Maybe even affluent that you want to put in your word and meaning book. Maybe even some of the answer words that you didn't know as well. But if you got it right, well done. Give it a tick. Number 4, we've got pastoral, rural, glib, urban, urbane and suave. Now, it is important with these words, again, if you spot the answer quickly, then great, go for it. And you can just easily just select those words. Rural, you may have heard of. Rural means to be say in the countryside. Urban means to be in the city or somewhere, an area that's built up. So they would be opposites. I'll give that one a tick if you got that right. Number 5, got lavish, dense, barren, concrete, thirsty and fertile. We often describe land as being barren. Fertile meaning that it's got it's rich and got lots of nutrients, so it makes things grow, whereas barren you might think of sort of more sandy land that doesn't make things grow so well. So well done if you got that one right. Barren and fertile. Okay, number 6, we've got cheerful, eager, lively, obsessed, solid and indifferent. And then eager and indifferent are the opposites there. It's quite a simple one, that one. Then we've got number 7, unite and separate. Again, hopefully quite a simple one for you to get right, that one. Important and insignificant. If it's important, it's something that you definitely want to do. It's insignificant, it's of little importance. Slapdash is when you do something sort of slapdash, do it quickly without much thought. Eccentric, it's kind of unusual. Seminal, which you may not have heard before, is strongly influencing later developments. Seminal, that's a new word. It was actually a bit of a new word to me, actually, seminal. I'm going to circle that one. Then we've got loiter, submit, subterfuge, plod, stall and hurry. Subterfuge is deceit. So again, this may be quite a good word to put in your word and meaning book, that one, but it's not the answer. Loiter means when you do something slowly. Hurry is when you do something quickly. So again, if you got that right, well done. And then we've got interpret, potent. Potent is obviously powerful. Often talk about fragrances as being potent, like a big strong smell. You've got squander, conjecture, conserve and potential. So when we squander, particularly if you squander something, you sort of get rid of it and you don't look after it. Sometimes people talk about squandering money, but conserve means to sort of look after, so keeping it. So well done if you got those ones right. Brilliant. So what we're going to do now, we're going to move on to our next set of code sequences. This time you're going to need to go to test 41 in your books, and this is page 46. So again, have an opportunity now to check down through these codes. And again, very similar to how we talked about the first lot, I hope that you were going either from the first letter to the first letter and then doing the second letter to the second letter. But if it doesn't identify a pattern, then you may need to miss a letter. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out how you achieve the answers, but please, I'd ask you to go down through, and then if you got any of these correct, do give them a tick. Any get wrong, see if you can double check the jumps. So question 1. First letter was going -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. And then the second letter, actually going every other letter, -1 + 1. -1 + 1. Question 2, we've got VO, and the first letter was going +3, +1, +3, +1, +3. And then the second letter was every other letter, +5, and then -5. Then we've got ZK. And the first letter was -6, -5, -4, -3 and then -2. The second letter was +2, +3, +4, +5 and then +6. Question 4 was KY. And this was every other letter +4. And then the second letter went +1, +3, +1, +3, +1. So again, well done if you got that one right. Number 5, we've got WX. And that is -3 on the first letter. And the second letter was +2, +0, +2, +0, and then +2. So brilliant if you managed to get those correct. And the last ones of your codes, we've got IG, ZH, question 7, SG, PS, and then ID. And again, I'd ask you please to write in here what your score was. So any point during these videos can be a really good idea just to pause it, stop it, and just give yourself an opportunity to mark them. And then any you get wrong, you can either go back and listen to my video in terms of telling you how to do the jumps, or you can easily just double check yourself to make sure that you know how to achieve the answer. So question 6, we got IG. First letter was +5. Second letter, every other letter -3. Question 7 was ZH. and that went quite big jumps, these ones. +7, +0, +7, +0, +7. Second letter, -4, -0, -4, -0, -4. Question 8, the SG. First letter, every other letter, +3, -3. Second letter, every other letter, -2, +2. Question 9, PS. First letter, every other letter, +0, +3. Second letter was every other letter, +1. And the last one, ID. First letter was +4, +5, +4, +5, +4. And the second letter was every other letter, +1, -1. So brilliant. Well done if you managed to get 10 out of 10 or even close to 10 out of 10 on those particular ones. I'm going to have a look now at the second lot of missing letter questions that you had for your homework. You now need to go to test 42, and that's page 47. Okay. So we know what our technique is here. We're getting very used to these. Again, you've got to be good spellers, but it's also really important, of course, that you cross out the right letters, and hopefully you'll arrive with a nice three-letter word. But using that sentence is the key. He took a something after playing football, and I hope all footballers do this. If they're playing football and they've got hot and sweaty, they've hopefully had a shower afterwards. So just a reminder, how do we do these? We can quickly write it down, and then we can immediately cross out the letters that you were given to leave you with the three-letter word. Some of you might just spot the three-letter word straight away, which again is great. You may not need to write it down. That can be a really good time-saving strategy. Susan had something what time her appointment was. So does the word for give you a clue? Susan had for what time her appointment was. For, then we've got 10, for 10, forgotten, forgotten. So got was what we need there. Many young people are unable to afford a mortgage. Again, this is really important. It's all about spellings. So M-O-R-T-G-A-G-E is how you spell mortgage. So again, if we cross out the letters that I was given, remember the letters always need to be consecutive. So we cross these letters out, and then we get gag. Okay, so again, well done if you got that one right. The commuters are people that sort of travel in and back to work. The commuters waited by the, now where would they be waiting if they were travelling? What could they possibly be travelling on? Maybe a train. So where would they be waiting? Be waiting by the platform. And maybe PLAT gave you a clue there, platform. The bridge was covered in, and the word we need here is graffiti. Now this isn't an easy word to spell, but again, if you can think about with graffiti, if you know that it contains two F's, that will certainly give you a clue. So again, if we cross out the letters that we were given, so I was given a G, I was given an R, I was given an A, I was given one F, and then I was given an I at the end, so fit. Okay, let's have a look at the next ones. It was a well something path. This is a really quite difficult one, and we're looking for the word trodden. So again, if we cross out the letters that we were given a T, given an R, given an E and a D, so we're left with the word odd. Something was important to her. Okay, so what could this be? Okay, something was important to her. What do we think this would be? Well, tidiness, tidiness. Tidiness. I was so sunburnt that my skin started, now what would it do if you were in the heat for a long time, in the sunshine? It might start peeling. So peeling, P-E-E-L-I-N-G. Michael opted to go to art something instead of university. I think, again, these letters probably give you a very big clue to this word. This word, of course, is college. College, and leg was the three-letter word we needed there. The last one, the something defaced the building. Now, defaced means sort of ruin or mark something if you deface it. And what we're looking for here is vandals. Vandals. Okay, and that will leave you with the word and. So again, if you could ask you to just go down through, tick the ones you got right. Some quite difficult words in there, but again, any words you didn't know, record them in your word and meaning book. It's all good for your vocabulary. Right, last but not least, we've got some more antonyms here. And again, if I could ask you to get your word and meaning books out, that would be great. Okay, so what have we got? So number one, we've got lament and rejoice. Lament means sort of an expression of grief. So rejoicing is being happy. So again, If you've got that one right, give it a tick. Number 2, we've got miserable and delighted. So again, that was quite an easy opposite. We don't need to know all of these other words, as long as you can pick out the words that are opposite. Frugal. Now, if you're frugal with your money, and we do relate it often with money, frugal is where you don't spend a lot. You're economical. You're economical with your money. Spendthrifty means that you spend it without little thought. A bit wasteful. So again, it's quite an easy one. Meek and arrogant. So meek is quiet and obedient, whereas arrogant is the opposite of that, sort of being loud and brash. So meek, quiet and arrogant are the opposites. Conceal, if you conceal something, you hide it, and then disclose, you reveal it. So again, well done if you got that one. Then we've got impeccable and flawed. Impeccable is when there's no mistakes. It's impeccable. Sometimes we might talk about an impeccable performance withoat any mistakes. Well done if you got that one. Stationary. Don't be confused with stationery as in pen and pencil. That, of course, would need an E-R-Y, whereas this is A-R-Y. Stationary meaning to stay still. And then we've got mobile, to move around. So that would be the opposite there. Wealthy and impoverished. Impoverished meaning not having any money. Then we've got courteous and impolite. Courteous meaning to be polite. Obviously impolite. If we put im in front of it, it changes it to be the opposite. And then advance and retreat. Okay, so advance forward and then retreat back. Okay. There may well be some words in there that you're not sure about. Do look them up, do write them down, and do use this book here. This word and meaning book is so important. It's a good place to track the words that you don't know. Just having a little look at your spelling. So in your next lesson, your lesson 2, you will be tested on these words here. So we will then expect you to move on to test 2 and learn your synonyms. So please do learn your spellings, because you will be tested on those in your lessons. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope it's been useful to go through some of the answers with you. If there are still some that you just don't know, you want some clarification on, don't hesitate to ask, but I'm pretty sure that was a fairly comprehensive review of your homework. Thanks again, take care, bye.